Hello, travelers. Today I have the most interesting interview for you. I love traveling myself, and one of the greatest reasons is the people I meet. It's probably the greatest reason that I love to travel. And it happens someone spectacular every single trip, it seems like. Recently, I was in San Diego. Many of you may have watched the webinar we did from the Wind and Sea Beach out there on San Diego, where we demonstrated the luscious things that we're going to be doing at our retreat at Bucket List Retreats. Okay, it's the Fun, Creativity, and Joy Retreat that we are holding in Kauai, Hawaii, October 22nd through 28th. You can find it at blueoceangetaway.com. All the details are there. And if you want to email me, there's a link on the bottom. And I'll give you a special price if you let me know that you watched this interview today. So what I was getting at is whenever I travel, one of my most favorite things, it is probably the most favorite things, is the people I meet. And when I was recently out there in California promoting this beautiful retreat that we're having in Kauai, Hawaii in October, I met the sweetest girl. Okay, she came just to participate in our dance party on the beach. We wanted a couple extra buddies to be a part of it, and she took part of it. It was so funny. We had a rogue wave at the beach during the middle of the filming, and everyone just totally adjusted, and we just continued on with the show. It was great. She was great. And so afterwards, we were talking about walking down the beach and having a cocktail and watching the sunset. And we somehow got on the subject of RVing. And Liz said that her boyfriend and her were building out a sprinter van. Have you seen? It's all the rage. A lot of the kids these days are going and buying these Mercedes sprinter vans, completely gutted. They don't even have windows. Of course, there's a windshield, but that's it. And building them out to their own specifications. And her boyfriend, she said, finishing up on it, and it was right up there. We wanted to go check it out, right? They lived right there on the beach. So I said, of course I want to check it out. So we walked up there, and there he was, covered in dust and finishing the beautiful inside. I will insert picture here or here, wherever it goes. And wow, I was so amazed. He had installed windows and doors and bathrooms and kitchens and cabinets and beds, and it is just fantastic. I said, yeah, let me take a picture of the two of you in this thing. It was so impressive. And I said, well, how did you meet this fine young man anyways? And she said, on the PCT. I was like, what? On the Pacific Crest Trail? And she was a little surprised that I'd heard of it. And I'm like, of course I've heard of it. I'm a huge fan of the book Wild by Cheryl Strayed. And I do have a personal connection to it, which I'm going to get to. So boom, boom, boom. The questions just started flying. I had to know everything about their meeting and falling in love on the PCT. And I said, please let me interview you. I can't wait to share your beautiful story, her lovely spirit, and their quest for what they're doing next. It's just amazing. So in a minute, we will be joined by the beautiful Liz, and I can't wait for her to share her story with you and me. I haven't heard the whole story. Someone's calling.
I'm
Something's happened.
in.
Oh my gosh.
I'm in, Kelly. Look at this.
I
See, I
can't
was thinking
see.
I had to do like the whole, the face one for the Zoom, and so that's why I was like, oh, the 3G isn't good enough, but this is perfect because it's just a call.
Okay, but I can't see your face, right?
No, I'm just on a regular call, but on the Zoom app.
Okay. Well, what I'll do is just insert pictures. Maybe you can email me some pictures.
Oh, okay.
So tell us where you are.
Okay, so when did we leave San Diego, Kev? Thursday. So Kelly, we left San Diego Thursday after 4 days of nonstop moving. It was very energy, like it took a lot of energy. And then we camped in Malibu the first night, like literally right on the beach where there's this big rock and it's beautiful.
Ooh.
And then after that, we kept going from Malibu and where did we stop else? Okay, so we stopped in Los Olivos, which we stopped in Santa Barbara, and then we stopped in Los Olivos, which is right above Santa Barbara on the mountain, and it's like a little wine country.
Ooh.
And then we drove through all the vineyards and stuff, and it was beautiful.
Oh, nice.
And then last night we stayed in Big Sur, like I said, and we're by Carmel now, and we're gonna hope for the redwoods tonight.
Ooh, that's our favorite place ever. Yeah, I want to talk about your rig too.
Yeah, of course.
How's it been working?
Oh, it's been perfect. As you can hear, Kevin is wrestling around in the fridge. It's been perfect. And we've gotten a lot of people that have stopped and checked it out and said,
oh
my
I
gosh, this
bet.
is so inspiring. Or like, oh, this is our dream too. And you know, what was our main goal for this winter is to really see America, and even more than America, like maybe travel down to Mexico and South America. And because I feel like so many people, you know, they work so hard their whole lives and they really dedicate so much time to an office job, and they just sit there and, you know, they make good money and they have a good retirement check or a good pension and a good 401k. And then they say, oh, well, 2 weeks a year, I'm going to do something. Yeah. Or when I retire, I'm going to go this place. And it's sad because you don't know, like, you're not guaranteed. Your health isn't guaranteed, and an accident isn't guaranteed, and that job isn't guaranteed. So we thought I just turned 30 on Wednesday, and Kevin is 20.
Birthday.
Thank you. And Kevin is 27, and we want to like get out there while we physically can, and, you know, not say, well, when this, or
I couldn't agree more. Yes.
We always feel like there's always a time where if we need to go get an office job, we can really do that, you know. Yeah. And we just want to see where this takes us, and we want to see. We feel like we can not only live life more this way, but we feel like opportunities present themselves even more this way than if we were just working for a company in a building.
I couldn't agree more. And you're attaining goals which provide opportunities, and they're usually in the line of your path. So it's a beautiful thing.
And that's why I do videos, is because I did work at NBC for 7 years, and I did do the thing where, even though I didn't sit in an office, you know, all day, because I was fortunate to be out reporting live and on stories, and that's what I loved. Like, I loved getting out there every day and doing something different, and I wanted to continue that, but I didn't want to do the negativity anymore of the car crashes, the house fires. And so that's why I started my own production company, is because I want to show how we're all connected, and I want people to feel. I don't want to just make videos that are just blatant marketing, you know, they just shoves marketing in your face. So they shove an idea or a company or a product in your face. I want you to feel something when you watch a video, so that you want to go do that. You want to buy that. You want to go on that retreat, because these people, it makes the emotions and the passion come through the screen.
Well, that's what I love about you, is you're actually living a fulfilled life. I loved your story. I met you on the beach a few weeks ago in San Diego, and you told me that your boyfriend was building out a Sprinter van right up the road. So we went up to look at it, and I just said, what the heck? This is gorgeous. And where did you meet a guy like this? And you said on the Pacific Crest Trail, and about blew me over. So it is something that I'm totally interested in. And then you went on to tell me the story of it. And that's what I want to share with everyone. I'm so excited to do it. So
yes, so
you were brought up in Oklahoma.
Yes, so I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is my hometown. My path was that I grew up in Tulsa, went to college at the University of Arkansas, got my broadcast journalism degree and my psychology degree, and then went immediately to work. I went immediately right after college, started working so long hours, and that was in Joplin, Missouri. Joplin, Missouri was my starter market. And I actually lived through one of the nation's worst tornadoes in Joplin, Missouri in 2011. And that is what brought me back to my hometown. So after reporting in Joplin, I said, I want to go to a bigger market. And my hometown Tulsa ended up being that good size of market to the next jump.
Nice.
So I went to Tulsa for 3.5 years. And then after signing my second contract, I signed my second contract in August. And from August until April, well, actually August until December, I just had this thing where I thought, gosh, there's more. Like, there's more out there, and I want to do more, and I want to adventure. And I had heard about the Appalachian Trail, and from that, doing research, then I heard about the Pacific Crest Trail, and I said, I'm going to do this. Like,
had you been a hiker?
So I had never really gone camping in my life. I had gone camping, car camping with my mom. I had never set up a tent. I had never slept in a sleeping bag. I never filtered water. I was very athletic my whole life because my mom, that was the foundation of me growing up, is she wanted to keep me very active and athletic. And so I was very athletic. And so physically I could do it. But, there comes along just the daily things you have to do with hiking and backpacking. And no, I hadn't done that, but my desire and my will was so much greater than anyone telling me, well, there are bears out there, what are you going to do? Or, how many times, how long have you, or asking, how many miles have you ever hiked? Or what's your backpacking trip experience? And, honestly, it was kind of humiliating. Like, I couldn't answer those questions.
Right.
But I just kept saying to myself, I remember one time my dad called me and he said, you are going to get killed because you're going to get eaten by a bear. And I told him, thank you for your advice, or thank you for your input, your advice, but I'm going to do this. And you kind of have to pick out it, to me, it was like the negativity, but to other people, like, it was just the realism of it. It was just the realistic part of it.
Yeah.
And you have to piece that.
And so
you have to piece that somewhere else.
Yes. If it's already in your heart. So how did you set about the planning with all of that? That must have been difficult.
So I got a calendar. I printed out 4 or 5 months, and each month would be a page. And then I wrote down each month's goals, like be able to walk 12 miles after I had already started kind of walking, so I was able to walk the distance. And then I said, okay, be able to tell work that you're leaving, and be able to tell the apartment that you're leaving, and do this and do that. And so I just set goals for 5 months down the road, and every month, like, I would complete those goals. And it was physical goals, and it was also goals that you just had to do to be able to leave everything and go hike. And then So I went hiking. I got to the trail. I had never been to San Diego before. I flew into San Diego and got a ride to the trailhead in Campo, which is like right on the border of Mexico and California.
Right.
And just kept walking and walking. And, you know, as you, even on the first day, you meet people, you meet a group, and you cling on to a community, and
Okay.
you build your community, and you surround yourself, of course, with like-minded people and people that make you feel like, okay, we're doing this, we're in this together, and we can do this. And then I just happened to, on the 5th day, just kept walking and walking and meeting people. And then on the 5th day, I ran into Kevin in Warner Springs, and he was like eating Oreos, and any kind of sugar and real food is such a specialty, a treat on the trail. So I'm like, oh, he's eating Oreos. So I made a comment like, oh, you're eating Oreos. And he was like, yeah. Wouldn't give me the time of day. And, you know, he didn't talk to me.
Oh.
And his defense is that he previously had a blonde girlfriend who she I guess turned a little bit nutty, and so he didn't want to be around.
He didn't want to go there again.
Anymore. Yeah, blonde.
Especially on a trail.
Yeah. As you keep walking, you just keep meeting more people, and then the people who you really connect with, you just kind of stay with, and you group, and then all of a sudden you have this big group of people. And so that's kind of what happened. Is I met Kevin on the 5th day, but then, you know, and I already had a group of friends. I think it was 4 or 5 of us that we kept walking. And then later on, my group of friends and Kevin's group of friends all became one big group of friends. And then by that time, I guess a month down the trail, he started talking to me. And after he started talking to me, like, we hung out for 2 days, kind of just walking together. We got caught in a rainstorm together in Los Angeles County. The trail goes through, sorry, it's not Los Angeles. Well, it is Los Angeles County, but it's Los Angeles, like, State Park or something.
Angeles Crest?
Yeah, it's like Agua Dulce.
Oh.
Is the town that the trail goes through, in Green Valley. And we got caught in a rainstorm there, and started talking, and then talked the next day, and then just eventually, you know, we moved in together to a one person tent.
Oh.
And then eventually got a 2-person tent, and this was as the trail was going. So we May is when we started officially, like, dating, a month in, and then July is, I think, when we got our 2-person tent. So it just evolved from there, and we always are very grateful for it, because it wasn't one of those relationships that happened or evolved over texting how it does these days, or
right.
Oh, is he going to take me out on? Is he going to call me tonight and take me out on the date? And
right.
It wasn't any of that. It wasn't any of the facade, and it wasn't any of the pretending. It was like, we hadn't taken a shower in a week, and this is who we really are. And we just had the entire day just to talk. Like, that's what we just did the entire day, is talk. And so by the end of it, we joked that we knew probably as much about each other as a person in a 3-year relationship.
It totally makes sense. So how was it for you physically in the beginning, with your pack and hiking and your feet and all this stuff that you hear about?
Physically, it was good, because I had already been walking. I had frequently walked when I was at home. I would say 12 miles twice a week. And if it wasn't that walk, it was like a 5-mile walk or run. And I was doing yoga. So I was upper body strong. And my pack was really heavy. You know, it was really heavy at first. It was probably 40 pounds, which is way, way too heavy.
Uh-huh.
And so I was, you know, I was starting the trail, and you don't know what you need. And especially you don't know what you need if you've never really done this.
Right.
And what you don't need, like what are necessities and what you just are not. It's really simple, cut and dry. What are
Right.
necessities and what are not necessities? And you can only take one luxury item that you just want.
Yeah.
But I had to learn that through each step. I had to walk and break out my toddler phase of the trail in order to earn my stripes, and in order to become less, to carry less.
Mm-hmm.
So I carried 40 pounds for probably the first 3 or 4 days, and you know, my feet really hurt. I got blisters because of it. And the other part of it was my hiking boots. They had too high of an arch just naturally in them. And
Oh.
so it felt like it was breaking my arch on my foot. My feet felt just like they were, the bones were broken on the bottom. But it's, you know, it's a combined thing. It's a combined, your pack's too heavy. You shouldn't really have hiking boots for the trail. You should have kind of trail runner tennis shoe like shoes.
Sure. Okay. Yeah,
Because
that's
they're
a
more
good tip.
light.
Right.
Yeah, because they're more light and able to, you know, they're not as structured, and so your feet have more room to breathe, and they have more
Right.
room to move. And then so I got to this town. It's like 3 or 4 days from the beginning, and fortunately there's an outfitter there, and they just customize and they call it shaking packs out, shaking you out, shaking you down. And
Oh, really?
so
They have a name for it.
yeah, so I sat there for a day with the lady that works there, and we got me down to, I want to say 22 pounds or something. And so that was just this godsend.
Oh,
And
I
then
bet.
for that, and I got new shoes. I got more of the trail runner shoes that look more like tennis shoes. And
Mm-hmm.
after that, it was smooth sailing. I was like a rocket down the trail.
Oh,
And then
great.
as you keep going, just yourself, you keep learning, and you keep learning just what you can get rid of even more. So I'm probably down to about 15 pounds I can get at.
Nice. So what about cold weather gear? Do you have to bring that when you're doing this whole trail?
Yeah, you have to bring, that's actually the thing that weighs you down the most besides food and water, is you have to be prepared for the different seasons. So yes, you have to bring rain pants that you can layer over leggings or long underwear. So you can wear long underwear as your base layer, which you can wear it to sleep in, or you can wear it for warmer clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can put your rain pants on and your rain jacket on over your clothes. And then you want like a down jacket, or you want a nice fleece jacket, sweater that's light. You want one of those two. You don't want both of them. And then you want to bring gloves and a little beanie hat, like a warm cap.
Yeah.
And other than that, you just really have one outfit that you wear.
Uh-huh. How far did you get? Like quarter way at a certain time, or did you meet your goals, that type of thing?
Well, I didn't really have any expectations about where we should be and when. That's kind of the beauty of the trail, is you just walk. You just get up every day and you walk. And you don't really put expectations on it, because you don't know if when you get to a stop where you have to resupply, if you'll really like that town, and maybe you do want to stay one day, or maybe you don't want to stay at all. And you don't really know until you get there and you try it out. And for instance, we got to South Lake Tahoe, Truckee area, and I just fell in love. And we ended up spending 5 days there. But
Oh,
we had
yeah.
never spent that long in one town before. And so you don't really have kind of a timeline. I mean, you know that you should reach Washington by late September because of the weather. And other than that, you just let it flow.
What time of year did you take off?
April 15th.
Okay. And yeah, so you just knew that you were looking at the weather in Washington in September. That's cool.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us about the end of the trip and what you guys are doing now.
So we got to the Oregon-Washington border, and in 2015, there were wildfires that were everywhere. They were just surrounding the trail, on the trail, and so we had two options. We could leave the trail and come back another time and finish it, or we could wait around, and we really had no clue how long it was going to take to reopen. I mean, it was like looking into a crystal ball. You don't know when the wildfires will be able to die down and when the firefighters can get a grip on them, and when it's safe enough to return, or if the trail will still be there. So we decided we had both been, well, before we met, we had both individually wanted to move to San Diego. I had been looking at TV markets there. Kevin drove his Jeep from Baltimore, where he's from, to San Diego with the intention of living. So as we got to know each other and this was revealed, we said, let's move to San Diego together after the trail. So we did the first option, and we got off the trail at the Oregon-Washington border and went and started our next adventure, and that was living in La Jolla. And we got an apartment there and got jobs in the week that we arrived. We got,
Wow.
I went back to DC, and he went to Solar City because he's a mechanical engineer, and he specializes in solar. And then we lived there for 2 years and made really good friends, and we decided we want another adventure. We really, like, this is who we are. It's deep down in our bones to not sit in one place for too long. And so Kevin built out this Sprinter van, and we are on our way now to, he just finished it, the 5 months to the date from when we bought it.
Wow.
And I know there's so many things that are synchronistic in our life. It's so kind of like you just know that there's someone higher than us watching over us and leading us, because everything is so synchronistic with dates and with people. And I mean, let me branch off really quick and tell you another quick story. I met this woman when I was still thinking of doing the PCT. In December, I went skiing in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. I ran into this running store to buy a water bottle. Met this woman, got to talking to her. She was roommates in college with my coworker at the news in Tulsa. So we kept talking, and I started following her on Facebook. Fast forward to when I'm doing the PCT, we're still Facebook friends. She lives right on the PCT now. She moved from Steamboat Springs to Washington, to the Oregon-Washington border.
Oh my God.
She lives right on the PCT, and that is right where we had to get off for the wildfires. So we stayed with her. We stayed with her for a few days, and yeah, I mean, just like things like that just happen to us in life if you let them, if you're just open and willing to allow them to happen. So yes, back to my story is that we're now driving up to Washington to start at their house and see how far we get before we have to get off to film for a client in early September.
So I just am so impressed that, yeah, you took time in San Diego to, further your lives and yet still go back and accomplish this goal. So it's such a great story. You guys are so inspirational. That van is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Is that
it
what
is.
we're
I have
calling
awesome
it, a van?
pictures. We call it an adventure mobile or an adventure van.
Okay. That's great. Well, you'll have to send me, are you probably on Instagram?
Instagram, on Instagram, it's my van tail, Tale.
Tale. All one word.
Yeah, my van tail.
Okay, great. All right. Well, you'll have to send me some pictures so I can make it really cute on the video. And
yes.
I'm so excited because I know this is okay. Let's just talk real quick about the wild connection. So your name on the trail.
Yeah, so everyone on the PCT gets trail names, your christened trail names, and it can come, your trail name comes to you just kind of, I guess, naturally. Like Kevin's is Protein because he thinks he's such a bro and he loves to eat protein bars. And so they called him Protein.
That's
I'm trying to think. Let me think of another example. There was a guy, trail name, his name was Banjo because he carried a little banjo on his backpack.
Oh.
And yeah, so you just kind of just get your trail name organically. And everyone kept saying, wow, you look like Reese Witherspoon, because this was the year that the movie Wild had just come out, and they just, people would be like, oh wow, you look really like Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
And so so we just said, okay, my trail name is Wild then.
Awesome.
And Kevin's, as I said, his trail name is Protein. So we have a custom California license plate. It's a black and yellow license plate, which matches our van because our van is black. And it says Wild Bro. So it's our trail names combined.
Awesome. Well, that's the connection I have, and I was telling you about it, is that I used to live in Bishop, California, which is just below Mammoth, out of the mountains, and my dad used to bring home, he worked up in Mammoth, he was a lineman for the county, no, for the telephone company, but he would bring hikers back all the time off the trail. Now I know that. Back then, I just imagined that they were hiking up to the top of a mountain. I didn't know they were hiking through, the area. But yeah, he'd bring them home, and Mom would let them pitch their tent in the back and take showers and wash their clothes and usually feed them, of course. But they couldn't stay inside.
That's what we called. So they were trail angels.
Oh.
That's what we call them, trail angels.
Yeah. Well, it was always.
It's getting more and more popular after the book and the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So more and more people are doing it. I know our year there was, I think, 1,800 permits that were allotted. But Kevin says that there's a statistic out there that in the first 100 or 200 miles, in the first 200 miles, 50% of the people drop out.
Ah, okay, there it is. Yeah. Yeah, I think you guys are really impressive, as you can tell. You guys have a great rest of your day. That's one of my favorite parts of the whole wide world, out where you're at.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, talking and reminiscing with Liz Bryant as she fell in love on the Pacific Crest Trail, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Also, hop on over to bucketlistretreats.com to get your free 5-day ultimate travel planner, and you can use it every single time you travel. Have a great day wherever you are in the world.
Bon voyage!